My brother's wife pushed me off a deck. I hit the ground so hard I heard bones crack. While I was lying in the ER getting 23 stitches, my brother sent me a text. Don't ever contact us again. No asking if I was okay, no coming to the hospital, just cold, cruel words from the person I protected my whole life. I texted back 2 letters. Okay. Then I made one phone call that destroyed their future, and they didn't even know it was me. The day started like any other Sunday. I drove to my brother's new construction site, the place where he and his wife were building their dream home: 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a gourmet kitchen, a deck overlooking the woods. They had talked about it for years, saved for it, planned every detail. I was happy for them, genuinely happy. I had co-signed their loan because their credit wasn't strong enough on their own. They needed a guarantor, someone with good credit and steady income who could vouch for them. I didn't hesitate. That's what family does, right? We help each other. His wife, Nina, was already there when I arrived. She stood on the partially built deck, phone in hand, barking orders at some subcontractor. She was like that, always. Ambitious, driven, a little intense. I had learned to keep my distance over the years, but for my brother's sake, I tried to be nice. "Hey, Nina," I called out, walking toward the house. She glanced at me, rolled her eyes, and went back to her phone. I shrugged it off and went inside to find my brother. He was in what would eventually be the living room, talking to an electrician about wiring. He smiled when he saw me, and for a moment, everything felt normal. "Hey, little sis, thanks for coming by. I wanted you to see the progress." We walked through the house together, room by room. He pointed out where the kitchen island would go, where the fireplace would be, where they would put the Christmas tree. His excitement was contagious. I forgot about Nina's coldness and just enjoyed being there with him. Then we stepped onto the deck. Nina was still there, still on her phone. She barely looked up when we walked out. "We were just talking about the railing," my brother said. "Thinking of doing cable instead of wood. What do you think?" I walked to the edge, looking out at the woods. "It's beautiful. Really, you guys built something amazing here." Nina finally looked up from her phone. "Yeah, well, it's ours, not yours, so don't get too comfortable." The words hung in the air like smoke. My brother shifted uncomfortably. "Nina, come on," he muttered. "What? I'm just saying. She doesn't live here. She doesn't pay for this. She's just a guest." I took a breath, counted to 3. I should probably head out anyway. I just wanted to see the progress. I turned to leave, but as I stepped toward the stairs, I felt a hand on my back, a shove, hard and sudden and mean. I stumbled forward, arms flailing, trying to catch myself, but there was nothing to catch, just air, just the edge of the deck, just the ground rushing up to meet me. I hit hard, so hard I felt something snap in my arm, so hard my head bounced off a pile of lumber, so hard the world went white, then red, then blurry. I heard screaming, my brother's voice maybe, Nina's definitely, words I couldn't make out through the ringing in my ears. I tried to move, couldn't, tried to speak, couldn't, just lay there, staring at the sky, feeling blood run down my face and pool in my ears. Someone called an ambulance. I don't remember who. I don't remember much after that. Just flashes. The inside of an ambulance, bright lights, strangers' faces, pain, sharp and deep and everywhere. By the time I got to the hospital, I was barely conscious. They rushed me into a room, cut off my clothes, and started asking questions I couldn't answer. X-rays, stitches, a cast on my arm, a concussion diagnosis, a nurse holding my hand and telling me I was lucky to be alive. I was in the ER for 4 hours, 4 hours of pain and fear and confusion, and not once did my phone ring, not once did my brother call to check on me, not once did Nina ask if I was okay. At some point, a nurse handed me my phone. "This has been buzzing for a while. You might want to check it." I unlocked it with shaking hands, 3 missed calls from my brother, and 1 text. I opened it, read the words, read them again and again. Don't ever contact us again. You caused enough drama today. Stay away from me and Nina. We're done with you. No apology, no concern, no "are you alive?" Just cold, final words from the person I had loved my entire life. I typed 2 letters, sent them. Okay. Then I made a call, not to him, not to Nina, to the bank. "Hi," I said, my voice steady despite everything. I need 3 days passed. I stayed in the hospital for 1 night, then went home to my empty apartment. My arm was in a cast. My head throbbed constantly. Bruises covered my body in shades of purple and black. Every time I moved, I felt the reminder of what Nina did, what my brother allowed. I didn't call them, didn't text, didn't explain. They wanted me to disappear, so I did. But I also watched. I checked Zillow obsessively, watched the listing for their dream home go from pending to contingent to something else. On day 3, it changed to back on market. I smiled, first time in days. On day 4, my phone rang, my brother's name on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. "Hey, it's me. Weird thing happened. The bank called, said there was an issue with the loan, something about the guarantor. I don't know what's going on. Call me back." I didn't. Day 5, another call, another voicemail. "Maya, please call me. The loan fell through. They said you withdrew. Why would you do that? We need to talk about this, please." Day 6, a text this time from Nina. "I know you did this. You're trying to ruin us because you're jealous. It won't work. We'll figure something out." I laughed out loud. Jealous of them, of that house, of the life they were building while I lay in a hospital bed alone. I typed back 1 sentence. "You pushed me off a deck, and he told me to disappear. I just did what you asked." Then I blocked both their numbers. A week later, I got a letter in the mail, official bank letterhead, confirming that the Morrison loan had been denied due to insufficient guarantor support. Their $40,000 deposit was forfeited, non-refundable. $40,000 gone. I set the letter on my kitchen table and stared at it for a long time. That was more than I made in a year at my job, more than I had in savings, more than I could ever dream of spending on myself. And they had just lost it. Part of me felt guilty, a small part, buried deep, that still remembered the brother who used to protect me, the one who walked me to school and scared away bullies and promised he would always be there. But that brother didn't send the text I got in the ER. That brother didn't abandon me when I needed him most. I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. 2 weeks later, I was at the grocery store when I saw them. They were in the parking lot loading bags into an old car I didn't recognize. Not his truck, not her SUV. Something beat up and rusted, held together with duct tape and desperation. I almost kept walking, almost pretended I didn't see them. But Nina looked up. Our eyes met. She froze. Her face went pale, then red, then purple with rage. She grabbed my brother's arm and pointed. He turned, saw me, and something in his face broke. I walked toward them, not because I wanted to fight, because I wanted to see, up close, what my choices had done. "Maya," his voice was hoarse, broken. "Please, we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about." "Yes, there is." He stepped forward, hands out like he was approaching a wild animal. "We lost everything. The house, the deposit, our savings. We're living in a motel. Nina lost her job. I can't. He choked on the words. Tears ran down his face. Real tears, genuine pain. And I felt nothing. "Let me ask you something," I said quietly. "When I was in the ER, getting stitches in my head, with a broken arm and a concussion, did you think about calling me?" He opened his mouth, closed it. "Did you think about asking if I was okay? Did you wonder if I was alive?" Nina stepped forward, her face twisted with anger. You don't get to play victim. You ruined our lives over one mistake, one accident. Accident? I laughed. You pushed me on purpose because you were annoyed I was there, and then he texted me to disappear. Those weren't accidents. Those were choices. I looked at my brother one last time. You made your choice. You chose her. You chose to believe her over me. You chose to abandon me when I needed you most. And now you're dealing with the consequences of your choices. I turned and walked away. Maya, please. His voice cracked, desperate. We're family. I kept walking. Family doesn't do what you did. Family doesn't push each other off decks. Family doesn't send texts like that from hospital waiting rooms. Family shows up. I got in my car and drove away, leaving them in that parking lot with their ruined dreams and their $40,000 mistake. 6 months passed. Life went on. My arm healed, though it still ached when it rained. The scars on my head faded into my hairline, invisible to anyone who didn't know where to look. But the ones inside? Those took longer. I threw myself into work, got a promotion, moved to a better apartment, started therapy, finally, to deal with the years of family drama I had been carrying like a weight around my neck. I didn't check on my brother, didn't ask about Nina, didn't care what happened to them. I had mourned that relationship and moved on. Then, on a rainy Tuesday evening, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find my brother standing in the hallway, soaking wet, looking worse than I had ever seen him. Thin, pale, broken. Maya, his voice was barely a whisper. Please, just let me talk, 5 minutes. Then I'll leave forever if you want. I should have closed the door, should have walked away, but something in his eyes made me hesitate. 5 minutes, I said, and stepped aside. He walked in, dripping on my floor, looking around at my apartment like he'd never seen anything like it. Maybe he hadn't. Maybe his world had shrunk so small that normal looked like luxury. She left, he said finally. Nina, 3 months ago, took whatever was left and disappeared. I haven't heard from her since. I said nothing. I lost everything. The house, the money, my job, my marriage. I'm sleeping in my car, Maya. He laughed bitterly. I never imagined. You never imagined what? That choices have consequences? He looked at me, tears streaming. I was wrong about everything. I knew she pushed you. I was standing right there. I saw it happen, and I let her convince me it was an accident. I let her talk me into sending that text. I was so scared of losing her that I lost you instead. The words hung in the air between us. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I needed you to know, that I see it now, what I did, what I became. He pulled something from his pocket, a check, folded and worn like he'd been carrying it for a while. It's not $40,000. It's only $5,000. It's everything I have left. I want you to have it, for the medical bills, for everything. I looked at the check, looked at him, saw the brother who used to protect me buried under years of bad choices and a toxic marriage. I don't want your money, I said quietly. He deflated. I don't have anything else to give. I walked to my kitchen table and picked up a letter, the one from the bank, confirming the loan denial. I handed it to him. He read it slowly. When he looked up, his eyes were confused. Why are you showing me this? Because I want you to understand something. I sat down across from him. That $40,000 wasn't about revenge. It was about consequences. You made choices, she made choices, and those choices had results. The money was just the result of your choices, not the cause. He stared at me, trying to understand. I didn't take your house to hurt you. I removed myself from a situation that was toxic and dangerous. The fact that your financial situation fell apart without me, That was always true. I just stopped hiding it." He nodded slowly. "I never thought of it that way." "I know." I took a breath. "I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to fix your life, but I will give you something else." I walked to my desk and pulled out a business card, my therapist's card. "If you're serious about changing, call her. Tell her I sent you. She's good. She'll help you figure out why you made the choices you did and how to stop making them." He took the card like it was made of gold, stared at it for a long time. "Why?" he whispered. "After everything I did, why help me now?" "Because I'm done being angry. It's too heavy to carry forever. And because, somewhere buried under all the garbage, you're still my brother, the one who walked me to school, the one who scared away bullies, the one who promised he'd always be there." I stood up. "But I'm not going to pretend the last year didn't happen. I'm not going to pretend you abandoned me. If you want a relationship with me, you're going to have to earn it, one day at a time. Starting with therapy, starting with accountability, starting with the truth." He stood, clutching the card. "I don't know if I can do it." "Neither do I, but that's the point, isn't it? We don't know. We just try." 1 year later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, it's Marcus. I've been in therapy for 9 months, got a job, an apartment. I'm not the same person anymore. I know you might not believe me. I know I don't deserve another chance. But if you're ever open to coffee, I'd like to try. No pressure, no expectations, just coffee." I stared at the message for a long time, thought about the ER, the stitches, the text that changed everything, the years of pain and healing and learning to stand on my own. Then I typed back 3 words: where and when. Would you have given him another chance? Comment below. If your sibling betrayed you like this, could you ever forgive them? Subscribe for more stories about family, betrayal, and the long road to healing.